Hello guys, welcome back to Final Fantasy VIII and welcome to Disc 3, which we've just begun at the end of the last episode. So we're going to crack straight on today and see what's going on. Don't forget to just hit the like button on YouTube if you enjoy this, and thanks for your support. Let's carry on and see what's going on with Squall and Friends. So it looks like there's a few questions to answer. Okay, so Renoa seems to be somewhat unresponsive at the minute, but we've just had a heads up here from Quistis that our good friend the sorceress is now back at her original house, which is where we parked the garden, if you remember. So we're going to go and visit there next and see what's going on. And we're just going to begin by heading to the bridge, which, as you'll know by now, of course, is right up at the top of the garden. And Quistis is waiting for us here. So we'll now go ahead as normal and select our party. I'm just going to go ahead with Zell here. And we can't have Renoa at this point in time. So for my magic user, we'll go for the good old selfie. And just sort our junctions out. And if we just turn around, we can see Edea's house is over there, which is, as I say, pretty much where we left off. But before we do anything else, there's a few bits that we do want to look at. So we're going to head back onto the garden now. And we're just going to start by sorting out our new Guardian Force. So it would be Alexander. And we're going to learn Alexander's abilities in the following order. By the way, one of the good abilities, well, he's got quite a few, has Alexander. But one of the nice ones is the Elemental Defense ×4, which is very rare for a Guardian Force to have naturally. So that's certainly one that you're going to want to not probably train up straight away, but eventually it's going to come in, you know, very useful. So I'm going to learn Alexander's abilities in the following order. First of all, we'll go for med data because that unlocks more stuff. Then we'll go for med level up, which isn't yet available. Then we'll go for high magic refinements, and then we'll go for elemental defense ×4, followed by the elemental attack junction. And then whatever else it is you want to learn after that point. In terms of the order we want our Guardian Forces in now, as our strength character, I'm going to give Squall here Alexander, and we're going to keep him with Quetzalcoatl, Ifrit and Cerberus, and I'll sort out the abilities later. Just want to make sure you know which Guardian Forces. And Brothers, Carbuncle, Tomvi and Leviathan is absolutely fine for our defensive character, with our magic character having Shiva, Diablos, Siren and Pandemonia. So make sure you sort your abilities out, making sure that everybody is powered up as high as possible. Now our very first thing we want to do after sorting out our Guardian Forces is head back up to Shumi Village, because after all the content we've done since we were last here, the Ultima draw point should have resurfaced. So once again, give your drawing character the highest magic stat they can possibly have. For me, this is Selfie, who doesn't have as high a magic stat as Renoa, but obviously we can't use Renoa at the moment. And of course, we're going to say that we want to pay the 5,000 gil. And we want to use this as soon as possible so that it can start resetting again. Don't forget to save your game before you do so. If you get a low yield, you might want to reload and try again. 8 is not acceptable for me, so I am going to reload. And we'll try again. This time, 15. That's more like it. That's exactly what I wanted. I didn't change Selfie's magic stat at all, by the way. So, I think she's on about 170. I'll just check. Yeah, 204. So, there is an element of randomness to it because I did get as low as 6, I think, on an unrecorded attempt that I didn't show you. But 15, I'm definitely keeping that. Well, she actually had less than 204. It was about 100 and something because now she's got 15 more Ultimas, which is boosting that. And I'm just going to see how much Ultima now we actually have. Let's have a quick look. We've got 80. So remember, when you get to 85, make sure you just pass it over to another character before you draw. Or more than 85, rather. Because 15 is the most you can get from a single draw, and you don't want to waste, you know, not getting 15 just because it would have put you over the maximum, which can't happen. And you can always send them back to that character once you've done the draw if you want them to have the Ultimas. But this is a pretty lucrative way of getting Ultima, especially since we're still only on Disc 3 and at the start of Disc 3, and we've almost maxed out a character with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put Encounter None back on. And now that Ultima draw point will continue to rack up again, so it should be ready in the not too distant future. Now, if you've been following my walkthrough exactly, including doing all of the side quests, then you would have done the CC card group quest. So, next, if you've been following my walkthrough and have lost the Chocobo card to the Queen of Cards earlier on, then challenge this guy by the library. If he's not there, just exit the area and come back until he appears. And he should have the Chubby Chocobo card, which we do need to win at this point. So, hopefully he'll play it on this turn. Got some nice new cards to try out, but some of them are actually pretty rubbish by the looks of things, so I'm not going to rush to do so, in all honesty. That'll do, just pick some cards, only hasn't played it anyway. Okay, so he's played the Chocobo card this time, and in all honesty, it was a little bit of a pain. What I had to do in the end was head to Dollit, which is where we sent the Queen of Cards previously, if you remember. And I went to the Queen of Cards in the pub, and then I spoke to her and asked her to tell me about her father. And then she told me where the Chubby Chocobo card was, which is in Balam. And then I came back and played this guy, and he had it on the first attempt. So you might just have to do that if he doesn't initially have it. But the reason why I wanted to get the Chubby Chocobo card now was because we can do a bit of card modding. And if I go to ability, card mod, and if we look for the Chubby Chocobo, there it is. We can card mod that into 100 Love G's. And basically, what that a Love G does, a single one, is boost a character's compatibility with all the Guardian Forces by 20 points each. So with 100, you can really get some boosting going on the compatibility. If you don't know what the compatibility does, it mostly is there to decrease the amount of time it takes for a Guardian Force to be summoned. So it's not the most essential thing in the game, especially if you're not using the Guardian Forces a lot. But if you are, then that Love G is a super blessing. It really is to have that item. And also the other item that we're going to card mod, or the other card rather that we're going to card mod, is the Leviathan card, which will give us 3 Docs codes. And we did get the Leviathan card from the Card Magician Joker as part of the CC group quest that we did earlier on. And with the Docs code, we should be able to give that, let me just see. Okay, it helps the Guardian Force learn the Med Data ability. So we're going to give that to Alexander. The card itself, Leviathan card, you're never going to play really because it's a terrible card, so it's fine to mod it. And don't forget, you can always get your rare cards back later on in the game, so long as you've done the group quest, the CC group quest. And if you haven't done that, you won't have the Leviathan card anyway. So we're going to go ahead and give that to Alexander, since he will immediately learn the Med Data ability. which saves us time in farming AP for it. So if we head down to Alexander now, we can see that we've learned it, and we're going to go ahead and start learning the med level up ability now. So it is worth it. It is worth it. And then while we're outside the library, we can just head in to see if there's another scene for Zell here. So we'll just chat to some of the folks around. Okay, there we go, here's the scene. If you remember, we answered some of these questions earlier on. Okay. So that's the final of the parts of the love quest that we need to do to see what this draw point is, because I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, okay. Squall doesn't want to check it out, so we'll leave it. And we're still not finished here in Balam yet. In fact, our next destination is just next door here at the training centre. And I've got the encounter non-ability activated. I recommend that you also do the same. And if we just start heading left here, then we'll come across another Weapons Monthly magazine. So we'll go and pick that up. This is the July issue. And that's all we need to do here in the training centre. Next stop is the cafeteria. If you remember, we've been speaking to the novice seeds in this area as we've been progressing throughout the game. And we're once again going to go and speak to them. Okay, so once they're repeating their dialogue, we can once again leave them to it. Right, next we're going to head over to the entrance of Garden. Make sure you have Zell in your party once again for this bit. Actually, we need to head to Balam. So with Zell in your party, you'll only be able to do this if you've been doing the quest in the library for the dialogue scenes with Zell. So we're going to start by speaking to this girl here at the entrance. And she's going to mention the girl with the pigtail in the garden library to us. And tell us that she came by Zell's house. That's all she's going to say, but we do need to talk to her. So we're going to go to Zell's house next. And we get a bit of a scene here. Okay, so we get told, well, nothing really. So we're going to head back out and head over to the station area. And I don't want to purchase a ticket. Okay, I couldn't seem to find the NPC that I was expecting to look for. So instead I'm just going to head over here to the hotel. And we're going to spend the night. And we get a bit of an interruption here. Get a nice, interesting scene. Zell has disappeared. I wonder where he's gone to. Okay, so this is where we're going to get the reward for this love quest, as it's called. Wonder what that was supposed to say. Okay, so we get the Combat King number 3 as our reward from that somewhat interesting side quest that we've been undertaking. So now our next destination is going back to Dalit, and we're going to complete a quest that we started previously, I think on disc 1 actually. But I did tell you not to do it then because the reward wasn't very good. But now that we've made our way to disc 3, the reward has suddenly become a lot better and it's worth undertaking. So I'll see you there. Right, so outside of Dalit, we're going to start of course just by heading in. And we need to, for the quest we're doing, the Dalit Bone quest, which we did begin early. If you haven't begun it, head to the artist's house at the end of the street, so not on this screen. But the next, not the next screen down, but the screen after, where there's a big painting in the room and a young boy. So, there's a silence draw point here if you need it. I guess we can give it to Squall. And the first bone of 3 that we need to find is with this dog. So if you've been following the walkthrough from the beginning, then you can just literally come straight in as I have and speak to the dog. That will get us an X potion. And after each time we find one of the bones, or one of the items, we need to head back to the artist's house in order to get the hint for the next one. So we're just going down to the next screen. And we'll head on inside to the artist's residence. And he'll just have a bit of a moan. Okay, and once the artist leaves and we're back in control of our party, we're just going to head on over to the young boy here, take his dialogue, and then look at the painting. And once we've done that, we're going to head back out to the street and up towards the pub where the Queen of Cards is currently located. And the dog has now moved. So go up and speak to him. This time we get a Mega Potion. And once again we're going to follow the same routine and head back to the artist's house. And he's back. But for how long? I mean, the painting pretty much shows you where it is anyway. But you do need to follow this routine in order to be able to find the dog. So once again, I'm going to have to speak to the kid. And look at the painting. And here's the dog again. this time we get an elixir. And to finish off with a scene. Quite a funny scene if you read it. Okay, pretty strange. But that's the end of the quest anyway. So, all of the other side optional content that we've done in previous episodes is still available to do if you've missed out on any of that. I'm not going to do any cactuar grinding yet, despite the fact that we have got a couple of new Guardian forces, since there's really no need to at this particular moment, although it won't be long until we are going back there, but we don't need to just yet. So for now we're going to carry on with the story and start making our way over to Edea's house. Okay, so back at Edea's house we're going to move forward for some scenes. There's also going to be a little bit of optional stuff we can grab while we're here as well, including some card stuff. And we're going to head on into the actual building itself. And that should kick off this scene. Well, we need to talk to Sid. There is also the magazine there, the Timber Maniacs issue. So make sure we'll grab that when we can. And then we're going to head towards Sid here. And it looks like he's hiding the sorceress. So we just need to speak to Edea / Matron, who informs us that she has been possessed all this time. And this is the first we really get to hear of the true sorceress Ultima, or at least the true villainous sorceress. And it seems that Edea has been her puppet throughout this first part of the game here. And we need to keep speaking to Edea at this point. Right, okay, once we get Sorceress Adele's name in yellow, then I'm pretty sure we've spoken to her as much as we need to. And this also unlocks some tutorial entries as well for Esther 1 and Esther 2. Okay, and now we've finished off our dialogue with Edea, we need to speak to Sid. And doing so will give us even some more tutorial entries on Time Confession and the Great Hine. Okay, so I did mention cards to you, and I'm not actually going to do that. If you wanted to do cards, play cards, then you can actually win the Edea card from Edea, and the Cypher card from Sid if you didn't get it earlier on. But the reason I haven't done so is that the rules that are available in this area are the random rule, which is a complete nuisance, as well as plus. So I just didn't think it was worth playing those games until we've managed to abandon the rules first. So if you want to try and get the Edea card, you can do, but even on the best of days, just be warned that Edea is actually a very good player. So just bear that in mind. Once the scenes have finished, unless there's anything else that I'm forgetting, we should find ourselves back on Balam Garden. Okay, and once we're back with Squall, our next destination, in order to proceed with the story, is to head towards the infirmary so that we can speak to Dr. Kadawaki. But I think we'll pick up with that next time, in all honesty. So we have gone on a bit today. Thanks for joining me, guys. Don't forget, you can just subscribe to the YouTube channel to be kept up to date with future episodes. And again, a big thanks to all of my patrons who have supported me over on Patreon. Don't forget to check back regularly, since I do try and put these episodes out on a schedule. So check the description for when that is. But until next time, guys, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.